I've kind of mastered the art of being invisible. I like to walk to work, and I go out of my way to find ways to not interact with other people as I go. I can walk the long way around and go underneath the freeway and then down this dirt road by the railroad tracks. And if I go that way, it takes a little longer, but I don't have to see anybody and I don't have to cross any traffic. And I like that. So, why am I bringing this up? Well, I don't know, actually. But maybe it's something to do with this thing I've realized, and that is that the things that we like in life are pretty simple. The things that really feel meaningful in life are pretty simple. And I don't really care very much about being around a lot of people. I do feel like a social person. I like to talk to people. I don't like to be just an island by myself. But increasingly, I just realize people in general, when you're talking about being social and connecting with others just for the sake of connecting, it feels really boring. It feels unfulfilling. It just feels like a waste of time. The truth of the matter is, I could read a book. I could spend time watching a video on YouTube. I could spend time playing a game I enjoy playing. I could spend time at work doing something which helps my organization to be successful. If I had a romantic relationship, then, I'd be there for my wife or my family, and that would be satisfying and fulfilling from a companionship perspective. But in terms of just connecting with other people, being in the crowd, hanging out at the bar, going to go with a buddy to go golfing, I don't know, whatever it is, just something, that kind of stuff always just kind of gets under my skin in a way. I just think to myself, I could be learning something, I could be doing something, I could be working on something, or I could just be enjoying my thoughts and my time to myself. Like this evening, I went outside and just took another long walk around the neighborhood, look around at the town, and watch the trains go by. It's not anything other than just being alone underneath the stars and reflecting on life and listening to some audio book or something. And I like it, And I think a lot of us, probably especially a lot of guys, tend to be pretty solitary in reality. Like, what do we really need to be happy and fulfilled in life? Is it really all about being super social or something like that? Or is it more about just eliminating a lot of the noise? Maybe you do spend time with your spouse or something like that if you're married, and you have your hobbies, you have your work, and you have things that interest you that you think are cool or inspiring, and that's enough. You don't really need anything else other than that. And then of course there's things kind of like YouTube or some community online, which maybe it's a great opportunity to be able to connect with a community of other people who may have some sort of a perspective on life which you share. But it's usually topical. It's usually based off of shared interests in something specific that intrigues you. But in broader society, quite often, connections aren't based off of actual shared interests. It's more based off of just this passive sense that life's supposed to be better if you're spending it with other people. But those people aren't really doing anything to progress your life or to uh, give you a true sense of kindred spirit there. And to me, I think the more I am aware of these things, the more I like to just tune out the noise and stop making other people a active part of my life. I also think it's easier to just have a good attitude in general when you don't have a lot of other people that are adding noise, because when you're around other people, then you start to absorb a lot of their behaviors and their perspectives, and you feel like you are going to have a harder time being a free agent. So having a little bit less of a social life, I think, is actually a positive more than a negative in a lot of cases. But then I also think that it's incredibly amazing to be able to connect with other people who really share your interests. You know, like if I went to, you know, a Star Trek convention, I'd probably have a pretty good time because I've been a Star Trek fan for pretty much my entire adult life, right? I could, you know, go to a gaming convention and feel like I want to talk to the people there, probably because I like gaming. It interests me, you know. But, you know, set me in a bar where we're just going to talk about like whatever random stuff people have on their mind that they think is interesting, probably doesn't interest me at all, to be honest. And that's what's really exhausting, when you are spending your time trying to make small talk. You're spending your time entertaining other people who don't have the same values or the same interests as you, and you have to kind of play along with it and, you know, go through the motions. Hours of that, and then down the road, you know, you think of all the things that you maybe could have done that would have been more spiritually uplifting. Sometimes it's better just to disconnect, but then look for opportunities to be around people who you really do value, people who you really do enjoy being around. And I'll fall back on that Warren Buffett quote that, you know, if you had a punch card and you only had 20 punches on it, then you'd make thoughtful decisions, and you'd make very few decisions, and they'd be big decisions, but they'd be based off of things that you really believe in. And the question is, you know, do we live our lives in that way? Do we have just a few really meaningful relationships in our lives? Or do we have a lot of noise and a lot of quantity, but not a lot of quality? Do we always feel like we have to dabble in, you know, a little bit of everything here and there, but we never really let the good things that are meaningful take root? Do we sometimes feel like we have obligations, that we're supposed to be a certain way, or we're supposed to fit in with a certain group or something, so we kind of go down that path? But it's not a satisfying path, because the things that actually spiritually recharge us, we're not really giving energy to, and instead we're putting our time and effort into people and ideas and things that don't really resonate very well with our ethos or our interests. It's always best to spend time doing things that you love, to spend time doing work that you love, to spend time with people who you love. And if you really don't, then you're probably better off just spending time by yourself and then being mindful to do things and think about things that you love in solitude. It's a art to learn how to wait, to learn how to be patient, to learn how to be perhaps a good source of company for yourself when you don't have your tribe to surround yourself with. But the more you learn to be content with yourself, the more you spend time in thought and spend time doing things that feel meaningful to you, the less need there is to fill that space with others. And yet we do have this knowledge that we aren't meant to be an island, that we are supposed to be part of something higher, greater than self. And so it is important to find other people who will share your journey with you. It's just maybe you don't need a crowd of companions, just a few good things. As always, best of luck on your adventure. Till next time, thanks for watching.